It's time for the ERT podcast. Here is your starting lineup. Starting at the number one co-host, Mr. Coaster Heat himself, Big. And your starting number two co-host, the faceless man, Surveillance. And starting at producer, the Intamin Stan, Chris. Warning: this episode may include explicit language. Please listen at your own risk.
Welcome to another edition of the ERT podcast. Coming at you like people. It feels so good to be back. It's your boy Biff. And as always, I am joined by the Coy to my Vance, the Hall to my Nash, the Page to my Plant. It is the one and only evil detective, Surveillance.
Oh, that sounds like a whole lot of love.
Want a whole lot of love? Want a whole lot of love?
Good times, bad times, you know I've had my share.
My man, bringing it all together. And sitting in the third chair is the man that makes us the trios champion of the podcast world. Today, he's a little bit slouching because he might or may not have the flu. It is the one and only possessed for life, but not for long because he's dying from the flu. The one and only Triple C Coaster Conquest, Chris.
Don't mind me. I'm just over here trying not to die.
Choking on intimate splooge over there.
This week's episode brought to you by Tamiflu. And our guest this week, coming to us from the Sunshine State, and that is Florida, another loyal listener, friend of the show, and BGT expert himself, the one and only Sax on Tracks.
What's up, guys? How's it going today?
It could be better on my end.
Very good, very good. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show.
I'm excited to be here. It's great to finally meet you all in person, or virtually at least.
Yep.
Right.
Absolutely.
Well, glad to have you on the show.
Our crazy little Zoom call.
It's true.
I thought it was teams.
Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know. I just know that it's paid for by Waste Management at WM.com for all of your sustainable and waste needs. That's WM.com, wastemanagement.com. I'll probably be mentioning them twice because they paid the bill this week.
No garbage park of the week.
Not yet, but I'm sure one will come up while we're discussing.
Okay.
Well, isn't that Busch Gardens every week?
Just about.
I mean,
For
there
you
are
it is. For you it is.
For me, it is. For sure.
Now, before we get this episode going, I wanted to share some information with everyone that we received at our email address. And I wanted to make sure we said this on air, just to clear whatever misconceptions that may be. But we received a cease and desist email.
Oh, snap! That's what I saw. Oh, snap!
From a park, unnamed because we legally can't say it. But let me pull it up. I should have had it up already. Hold on. So I can read some snippets. Maybe put some on the screen here. It's loading. Sorry.
What is today? What is the date? I'm just making sure it ain't April 1st.
3-8.
I'm just making sure it ain't April 1st. It ain't April Fool's Day, is it?
It is not April Fool's Day. So it starts off at coming from legal at blank.com. And cease and desist is the title. Defamatory and harmful statements regarding blank amusement park. So this letter serves as a formal and unequivocal demand that you immediately cease and desist from all defamatory, slanderous, and malicious activities directed at blank amusement park.
I believe that's deflammatory.
Defamatory.
Defamatory.
Yeah, defamatory. Yeah.
What in the world? Did,
Yeah.
did Bush know you were coming on, sir?
Probably, man. They seem to know a lot about me.
Your reckless and baseless attacks on our esteemed establishment have crossed every conceivable line of decency and legality.
Okay. It's esteemed, so we know Bush is off the table.
We go it further. Furthermore, it said one mother from wrote us in tears, explaining that after listening to your episode lambasting our safety protocols, claims that are not only unfounded and dangerously misleading. She can no longer bring her children to the park, fearing for their lives based on your hysterical exaggerations.
When did we do an episode on safety? Okay. Can I ask a question? Can I
Is
say
it
if this
real,
park?
or-
One second, and then it goes on. A group of season pass holders in the area canceled their renewals in mass, stating that your repeated accusations of overpriced mediocrity and neglected attractions made them feel foolish for ever supporting us.
Well, I mean, it writes itself.
I mean,
I
I know plenty of people personally that have canceled their passes to SeaWorld and Busch Gardens because of things I've said online. So if they're going to hold you to that, I expect to hear from Busch Gardens at some point, because I've had the same effect on other people.
Wow.
And then, at the end of his, we will not hesitate to subpoena your records, depose your hosts, and expose your operation for the reckless farce that it is. This is your one and only warning. Cease and desist now or face the consequences. Govern yourselves accordingly. Sincerely, blank, general manager at blank amusement park.
Do they know who our legal team is? Morgan and Morgan and Morgan and Morgan.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan and 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 Morgan Morgan and 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 Morgan.
So, I guess we will not be talking about blank amusement park anymore.
Is this park in Kentucky or Ohio? Can we say?
No, we cannot.
Not Ohio. We can say that, right? Not Ohio.
Not Ohio. We can say that.
It's not in Ohio.
Not in Ohio.
I think his sound went out again.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Technical difficulties. Boop, 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 boop. Doo, 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 doo.
No.
And-
Pause. We'll pause for a quick station break.
You've been watching ERT TV.
And we're back.
Cease and desist, huh? Wow. Well, it does look like maybe somebody did give a flying fucks about what was going on. Now they're telling us to cease and desist. They're telling us we are chasing the wrong storm. And if we continue to run from thunder, the thunder will eventually catch up with us and will come down. You called the thunder down. Now you got it. Fuck yeah.
Well, the lightning comes before the thunder, right?
Right.
Big kahuna, huh? That's a mighty tasty burger.
It is.
Anyway. Yep, so that happened.
So are we today trying to get one from another park named Busch Gardens?
Yeah, we may, at the end of this episode, we may. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself for people who don't know who you are, what your role in the community is, what you've been doing, how you got started, and what's your gimmick, what are you famous for?
My name is Sax on Tracks. I started, I've always been into theme parks. My family's been going to like Disney, Universal, Busch Gardens, like since I was a tiny kid. I have a picture of me like probably 3 or 4 years old standing up on Stanley Falls during the drop of it during the photo back in the day. And Yeah, so I've been going to theme parks my whole life. I lived up in Ohio for about a decade, playing with different bands up there, and then moved back down here in 2021. And ever since then, have been going to theme parks nonstop down here. And one of the first things I noticed on my first trip back to Busch Gardens is I hadn't been to Busch Gardens probably since about 2006 or 7 was my last time there before getting another annual pass in 2022. And the first thing I noticed was how far the park had fallen since my last visit. I wasn't, sure if it was just, a one-time thing or if it was just like one of those things that they were rebuilding at the time, because I hadn't really been involved in the community for a while. But for the last like 3, almost 4 years now, I've been seeing, it was the first couple years a little bit of a downfall, but then this past year was really where it became apparent that this is there's something wrong with this park. It's more than just a downfall. It's to me, it's we'll get into it, I guess, more so in the future. But yeah.
And just to clarify, this is Busch Gardens, Tampa Bay, not Busch Gardens, Williamsburg.
Oh yeah, Tampa Bay specifically. Williamsburg is phenomenal. I went there for the first time this past summer and had a fantastic time there.
Uh-oh.
Busch Gardens, Williamsburg, shout out to them. Site of our spring breakout, April 3rd through the 5th. I will be at Busch Gardens for the first 2 days of spring breakout, Friday and Saturday. Chris will get his first coaster of 2026. What's it going to be, Chris? What's it going to be?
It's got to be Pantheon.
Gotta be Pantheon.
You're going straight to Pantheon. So we got to go straight to, you got to come in the park. We got to come in the park, get our tickets, welcome, do all that shit. And then we got straight to Pantheon, right?
Straight to Pantheon.
Straight to Pantheon. So park, get that park, welcome, straight to Pantheon, right?
Yes.
I love Pantheon.
It's such a great coaster, but it's just, I'm going to have to sit the first one out.
For me, I like it a lot.
I'll have Double J. He's not big enough to ride it.
Okay,
So
well,
I'll have to miss the first ride.
Well, let's just go. I'll be fine starting off. You want to do Invader first?
No, we'll go there. We'll go straight to Pantheon. Straight to Pantheon. Straight
I
to
want to
Pantheon.
ride with everyone first. First ride, everyone.
Have you guys been on a Dark Coaster?
No.
Ooh, we can do that.
Yeah,
Can
I
JJ
have,
do
but what?
Can JJ do that?
Dark Coaster? Yeah, he's big enough. It's his first. Yeah, it's his first time being big enough.
I don't think
Let's
he
do
can
that
do
then.
it solo, but he can do it with an adult.
That's
Yeah.
a fun ride. It's fun.
48
It was
inches,
a lot
yeah.
more fun than I thought it was going to be.
Let's do that.
Yeah, I liked it a lot too. Yeah. Okay. All right.
New to me, new to JJ.
I do want to go straight to Pantheon. I do want to ride Pantheon.
Revolted's also a great choice.
Yeah,
It
but
won't be
it's
open.
closed. It's closed. It's
Yeah,
gonna be.
it won't be finished yet. That's right.
It's gonna be closed till like May. So.
Yeah.
So I'm confused, but if you want to go straight to Pantheon, you usually want to go straight to Panty Off.
Panties off, baby, all day
He
long.
said that.
Panties
heard
off
that too.
all day
I want to
long.
go straight to Pantheon. Panty off.
Well, see, when JJ's with us, that's usually when the panties stay on. It's when JJ's not around is when the panties come off, like immediately. Like what? Am I saying too much?
Yeah.
You know what's funny is my friends. I go by JJ. So if my friends have tuned into this and just are tuning into this, they're gonna be like, oh, they're talking about him.
My bad. We're talking about Little Double J. My bad. Little Double J is who we're talking about.
No longer the world's youngest Thuzy, unfortunately.
You know, he's gonna keep that title. Let me tell you why he's gonna keep that title. Because at 5 years old, he's got Texas Stingray. How many 5-year-olds you know's got Texas Stingray? Mind bender. Usually when you're 5, you're riding Great Pumpkin and Woodstock Express. This kid has said, I'm riding all wooden coasters. Whatever it is wooden, I'm riding it. And, okay.
My
At
daughter's
5 years old.
My daughter's first credit was Cobra's Curse, and then her second credit was Iron Gauzy at 7
Nice.
years old. At 7.
Nice. 7. See, 7.
I got
He's
one
big enough
coming.
for Gauzy. He wants to ride Twisted Timbers. He wants to ride Raptor. His new thing now is Millennium Force. He watched a
Oh yeah,
video and there's
that's a
riding
great
Millennium
one.
Force. That's his new thing now. I think I can ride that one, Pop. I think I can do that one. I said, okay. And then that's when he said, I'm riding all wooden coasters. Whatever it is wood, I'm riding it.
Don't
He
let him
says
ride
he can.
Bush Street.
He said he'll do that one until he walks up and sees that fucking lift hill.
Yeah. Yeah. I told him it's big. He was like, I don't care. And I was like, okay. All right, man. We'll see. We're taking in the Busch Gardens. We're going to Busch Gardens this summer. We're taking in the Busch Gardens. We're going for my birthday. So he's going to SeaWorld for the first time. And we're going to go to Busch Gardens Tampa. So just give us, starting off here, just give us your view of us taking Double J to Tampa for the first time. And he's 48 inches, so he can ride, but he can't ride everything. So what do you think we ought to do? What kind of day would you plan for us?
Does he like train rides?
Yes.
The train ride there is great. That's I mean, you can't go wrong there because you go right on the Serengeti, the area where all the animals are, and you get to see them up close. Sometimes they even get in front of the train, and the train has to stop. So that's a great, just because you get up close and look at the animals, like way closer than you'll get from any of the pathways.
Oh no.
And then it's just a fun train ride in general. And as you're going along, one of my favorite things about that ride is generally the people that they have hosting it that are talking into the microphone on it. They're usually really great and have lots of facts and can provide just so much. They make that ride less boring and actually an entertaining experience and educational as well.
Do they kind of go Jungle Cruise with it, or not quite that?
Some of them definitely have a lot of fun with it. It just depends on the person and the day. Like I've had some really equal, rides that are equal to the experiences I've had on Jungle Cruise before on that. It just depends on the person and the day.
Yeah, because like Jungle Cruise is pretty lame for people that don't know. But if you have the right operator on the mic, like they can make it like one of the best experiences of the day.
Oh, for sure. Oh, for sure. Like when I was a kid, it's crazy how busy Jungle Cruise can get these days. Because when I was a kid and we would go there a lot, literally at the end of the night, that line would be empty, and me and my dad would just ride on it 3 times in a row. And if we got it with the same guy that was really good the whole day, that was what was one of the highlights of our day right at the end of the day there.
Right.
Having that live performer, can change the whole outcome of the ride experience itself.
Yeah, that's absolutely been my experience. The operator can make or break it because it's not very good, just as a standalone attraction.
And it same goes for the tram ride into the park too, man. There's some awesome tram ride operators there that have a lot of fun with it too. It just really depends on the person. That park doesn't lack in great employees. It just lacks in great leadership.
Yep. Unfortunately, that's a lot of parks.
There are a lot of good there. I mean, there are a lot of people there that are less than desirable as far as their work ethic and their attitude. But they're, over the years I've been going back there, I've made a lot of friends there. I've met a lot of people who are working there that are great. Yeah, I was just talking about how over the years I've met a lot of people that work there, and there are a lot of good people there. Despite there are the problematic employees that are more on the low effort side and worse attitude side, but there are a good number of people there that are great employees that deserve the praise. It just it really sucks that the park or the corporate leadership is really just tearing the park apart and leaving those employees there to deal with the mess they're making.
So I guess my question to you, since you've been going there for however many years you've been going, like what is hamstringing Busch Gardens Tampa Bay the most? Is it management? Because I refuse to believe like management just doesn't care. Like
I think it stems down from corporate at the top at United Parks literally not wanting to spend and give Busch Gardens the funds it needs. And I think the problem is that for the past 3, 4, 5 years now, the park's been in a consistent decline, and it's gotten itself into a pretty deep hole now. And it's going to take some pretty deep pockets to get them back up to where they need to be. It's not going to be a quick and easy fix. And if they want it to be a quick and easy fix, it's going to take a lot of money. So I think literally it's just like they're throwing a bucket of water on like a burning inferno. Like it's like you're really not going to get the job done when you don't have the proper equipment to get the job done.
Right. You have a big hole, you need a big shovel to start filling in the dirt.
Yep.
The
problem is just they've dug themselves in too deep now, and they really don't know how to get themselves out. And like literally the past 4 years, they've gone through, I think, 4 or 5 different presidents. Literally the last year alone, they went through 2 different presidents. The last one left in December, Brian Basica, who had just came there from Six Flags Great Adventure. He left in December 9th of last year and went to Legoland to become the president there moving forward. And since then, they haven't had a president. And it's, to me, it's they don't want it. Nobody in the corporate wants that job because they see the turnover rate. And then nobody in the president, realm of the job market of, there's a whole bunch of Six Flag presidents that got, let go or laid off last year. Those are, prime candidates to take this job, but they haven't taken it. The only conclusion I can come to is that they don't want it because they've seen the constant turnover rate of the leadership at that park. And there's probably a lot of chatter between, folks talking, when you get to that realm, you're talking to the other people that are, leaders of the industry. So I imagine, there's not a lot of desire for that job to be taken.
Right. And so it sounds like it's become an albatross or a scarlet letter, like that no one wants to be associated with.
That's the only thing I can conclude, and it's just one of those things that, like, here's the thing: is like Jeff Davis last year, he came in, and I was optimistic about him at first because he gave all these huge promises, like $50 million investments to the parks. They were going to be, boosting up the infrastructure, bringing in new rides and everything. And then literally it was like almost none of that was noticeable by any guest. Like I think there was like 2 or 3 things there, like small, like a soda stand that had like some sort of like sculpture built around it. That was like the best thing I noticed there last year, as far as an addition to the park. So there was all these promises, but a lot, the Wild Oasis ended up getting delayed like 2 or 3 times. And he promised us details about Kumba's reopening. That never happened until like 3 days before Kumba actually reopened for, the past members. So there was just a bunch of failed promises. But then Brian Basica came in, and his first actual appearance inside the park last year was actually at the Wild Oasis grand opening. I got to meet with him there. He was really cool. He was really transparent and really wanting to like move the park forward. And it actually felt like much more optimistic than I felt when I first saw the videos of Jeff Davis and what he was trying to do. And then I met him again at the Kumba reopening. And one of the things he said to all of us, like Zooter Loopers was there, Grace Adventures was there. There was a whole bunch of other people in the creators community that were there for that reopening. And he was telling us that morning that, his biggest goal, he's like super disappointed in all the train operations around the park. And that was one of the things he was working on fixing. And then literally within like a month of that, or I guess not a month, like 2 weeks of that, literally every train in the park was on 2 train operations. And then 2 weeks later, Cheetah Hunt closed. And then about 2 weeks after that, right before Thanksgiving, was when literally I got sent a leaked email from somebody. I'm not going to name who they work for, but it was an email about Brian Basica moving to Legoland for Busch Gardens. And that's when it became very apparent that, this guy had actually gotten some things done that he actually wanted to do. And as soon as he got those things done, things started shutting down again, and then he moved jobs. So clearly it was just like, it's like you can't get anything done when you're president. Anything you want as a goal is just shot down by corporate. That's what it seems like, at least.
Yeah. So they're mainly owned by Like I'm trying to think of investment capital.
Yeah, Hillpath Capital. They're why am I blanking on the term? A capital investment firm.
Right. And like they're really just sucking the profits out of, like they're not wanting to put any money back. Like they just want to suck the profits
Oh yeah,
dry.
you can literally. It's weird because you could see like the same thing happening over the same time span at SeaWorld Orlando. Like I wouldn't say it's anywhere near as drastic as it is at Busch Gardens, Tampa Bay, but there has been a significant decline in the years that I've been going there. From what I've heard at SeaWorld San Antonio, it's pretty stable there. I have heard up and down things about SeaWorld San Diego, but I don't really know too many people that go there. But Busch Gardens Williamsburg, I know a lot of people that are regulars there, and after going there, it's so weird that park is. I mean, they're I forget the guy's name. Their president, it's Kevin Heinbach, I think is his name. I can't. I might have gotten his last name wrong, but the president there has been, leading that company for several years now. And to me, it's like they just give him all the money because he has all the results up there, and so that park just has become their flagship over the past 5-6 years because they don't really know what to do with the other parks because the other parks haven't really had any leadership that actually cares and are into the parks they're leading.
Right.
You just had Jeffrey Siebert on a few weeks ago on your podcast, and watching that episode, it was so clear how enthusiastic he is for his job, and how enthusiastic he is just to be able to ride roller coasters, be a creative in the industry. And that's just what, we need people like that in leadership throughout the industry at all the parks. And if the parks can't find that, they need to literally hire people that are less experienced and give them that experience, because the only way these parks are going to grow and succeed in the future is by having people that are actually interested in the parks they're leading.
Like you have to have people that give a damn.
Oh yeah. I mean, and Jeff literally is a prime example. I mean, when I was watching that, there were things and he was just a visionary. To me, a lot of the things he was saying and a lot of things he used to describe how he did things was reminded me a lot of Walt Disney. Like he is a modern day theme park visionary.
Wow.
He's Six Flags is lucky to have him because he would literally
absolutely.
Any company he worked for, he would just skyrocket.
Yeah, I agree. Excuse me.
Yeah, there just the lack of leadership at these parks is what is actually hurting it the most. And along with there's the big problem is the retaining employees as well there, because you constantly have I'd say anywhere from a third to half of their employees that are constantly in rotation, and they're constantly training new employees. And when you don't have employees that are constantly there, you just don't have consistency in your product.
Right.
So let's take this. When you were talking, I was looking something up. Now, Biff, it's possible when you go down there. Do you think Double J is ready for an inversion?
He rode
Mindbender.
What about? And this is a good transition coaster as long as it's still open. Cheetah Hunt.
Oh, he's on it. Cheetah Hunt, he wants to ride it. He's on that one. And he watched the video. He can't even, the inversion that it does, you can't even really tell. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, there's more hang time on it than force.
But he's already talked about Cheetah Hunt. I know Cheetah Hunt's going to be good for him. I know he's going to like Cobra's Curse. I wish he wouldn't ride Scorpion because it's got a loop on it. He wouldn't have rode it.
Oh, he would have loved that. I loved that ride. I missed that ride so much.
Now, we put him on Mindbender, it almost broke him. If it's got a loop in it, like a loop, he's like, nah. But I think he says he might be able to do a twist. I've seen him doing that the other day, trying to see the difference between a twist and a loop.
Well, all Iron Gwazi has is twist. There's no vertical loop on Iron Gwazi.
I don't know, man. He did Texas Stingray, and that's his biggest. Besides Mindbender, but Texas Stingray has been the biggest and fastest that he's been on since Mindbender. But he liked it. He liked it a lot.
He'll like Icebreaker.
Oh yeah, I
at
forgot
Steve's
about Icebreaker.
Orlando.
Yeah, I forgot about Icebreaker. You can't, huh? Penguin Trek, Icebreaker, Phoenix Rising at Busch Gardens. You can talk about Phoenix Rising.
No, we haven't talked about that. I like that roller coaster. It's just it's got the unfortunate B&M rattle. It's not as bad as Penguin Trek. Penguin Trek has had it since day one, and it's been very apparent. I remember before Penguin Trek even opened, I was hearing it on the ride as it was testing, and I was like, dude, that sounds like a rattle. And then literally, I was on the first train, first public train when it opened up for previews, and dude, it was very apparent, and it's not as like it. The problem I see on it is that I see you can see it and you can feel it more so on the turns on those rides. There is that one straight section of Raptera where it looks like it bounces, but it's a different rattle on those family coasters. That's a more of a side to side rattle and not a bouncing rattle like it is on that's just more of a wing coaster thing, I think.
Yeah.
But those family coasters, it's almost like, to me, like the wheel assembly just has a little a little bit of too much wiggle room, and it causes the front and the back of the cart to just wiggle around too much, because when you go around the turns, dude, it is like you can I wish I had a GoPro because I could get a video of me, like I always like go and you can hear my voice go around the curve, because it's literally it's jarring sometimes. And
I wonder if that's something they could fix, like, just the wheels or just the wheel assembly. But if that's something they could fix from year to year, like one year would have it, next year might be a little bit better. They improve on what was going wrong. You would think.
because I didn't notice that much on Phoenix Rising when it opened, but this past summer when me and my daughter went when I took her there for the first, not for the first time, but the first time just this summer, she went on it. That was her first time on it, and she was a one and done, because when we were on it, it was rattling so much it gave her a headache. And she rides Iron Gwazi, 10 times in a row, no problem. But that ride one time gave her a headache.
Wow, that's a shame. Big Bad Wolf's not like that at all.
No, Big Bad Wolf, I did that last year, and it was great. I enjoyed it. And the theming's really great on that one.
Yeah, JJ's looking forward to that one too. Chris, you haven't ridden that one yet, neither have you. I mean, it's just a little kiddie coaster, but it's fun. It's a fun ride,
Is he tall enough
I'm
to
excited.
do a polished chariot?
Not yet. 54 for a polished chariot. He's just now hit 48.
Nice. Dude, that's gonna be when it's all fun. Dude, my daughter hit that, and it's been nothing but fun since then.
But he won't do Loch Ness Monster. He would have done Verbolten if it had been open. Dark coaster.
Would he not do Loch Ness Monster because of the loops?
The loops.
Right.
Yeah.
I get it.
He don't like the loops because it takes him back to Mindbender. You know what I'm saying? And that almost broke him. He was 3 years old when we put him on Mindbender.
He sees a loop. It's like the flashback from Vietnam behind him.
Yeah. He gets PTSD when he sees
Was that in Georgia?
Yes.
Yes. Six Flags Over Georgia.
That was the first coaster I went upside down on. I was probably 10 years old, and it freaked me out. Like, he's fucking 3.
Oh, dude, I would go to theme parks, and my dad and my brother would always ride the coasters. I was way too scared to ride anything as a kid. And then I started playing Roller Coaster Tycoon when I was 11. I became obsessed with that game, and then became obsessed with roller coasters. And so every time I would go, I would just get more and more curious. But when I was 13, finally built up the courage. And my first ride I actually rode was Rock and Roller Coaster at
Okay.
MGM Studios. And I was obsessed from that moment. I literally spent the rest of the day at the park begging my dad to take us to Islands of Adventure because it had only opened the year before, and I was desperate to ride the Hulk and Dueling Dragons. And I bugged him so much, by the end of the day, he agreed, and we ended up going to Islands of Adventure and getting passes there the very next day.
Hell yeah. Okay.
So I got a phone call because I'm having to do this on my phone because I broke my iPad screen and it's currently getting repaired.
How'd you do that?
I kicked it off the bed, like in my sleep. Like,
Oh, I thought about like maybe you had some money on a game or something and kicked that motherfucker. Oh, that's my other friend that has the gaming problem. My bad.
Maybe you should put your
hold-
iPad up off the bed when you sleep.
Yeah, I have I'm a.
Oh, I know I was on the bed. He was doing the wicked twister, and then he fucking kicked it when he fucking splooged, kicked that motherfucker straight off the bed. Son of a bitch.
But real deal, I'm a shareholder in Six Flags, and like I just kicked it off the bed in frustration and crashed.
Oh, I get that. Well, they just sold the parks to themselves. I don't give a shit what anybody says. I truly believe that's what's going on.
100% agree with that take.
For real, because they're like, okay, we sold it. These people are going to operate the parks, but these people are going to own the parks. And it just so happens to be the same company that owns Darien Lake and Frontier City, two Six Flags parks that are on the Six Flags Pass. Somebody owns those two parks, and it just happens to be the people that own those two parks now have bought the other seven. No, y'all pulling the Yum brands right here. Y'all pulling the Yum brands right here. You're splitting off. You sold it to yourselves.
Right.
If you take the Enchanted Parks logo and you put it right next to the Six Flags logo, both or not the Enchanted Parks, but the IM, the International Amusement, the company that like was the parent company, like literally the I on the that company has a red flag that matches almost identically up to the Six Flags logo.
Right.
Cedar Fair flags.
Yeah.
Those flags were on top of like the Cedar Fair logos when King Island went to Cedar Fair.
Yeah.
So
I think they just sold it to themselves. They pulled the fucking seriously. They pulled the Yum brands. They sold it to themselves. My company just did the same thing. We was called Sunoco. Then they diversitized the same as Six Flags, the same they did, and created a whole new company. Now it's called ThermoSafe, but we still give a kickback to Sunoco. I'm telling you, they sold it to themselves.
Yeah,
Wait until they rebrand themselves as Cedar Fair. Cedar Fair is back, baby.
It's a bunch of funny business.
Oh, that would be great.
It is a bunch of funny business, but it kind of makes me want to go to Six Flags St. Louis now. It's just like a 4-hour drive from my house. I might go do it on a weekend, take the B and see how it is. And then if it's cool, we'll take Double J because we're alternating weekends with him this summer. So,
like God's honest truth, my second favorite Six Flags, like Legacy Six Flags Park, Six Flags St. Louis. Like,
I really don't get that, bro. I like Georgia better. I like Great America better. I love Great America.
I love Six Flags Worlds of Adventure.
well, I've got Great America ahead, but not that. That's the only one I have ahead of the
Did
Legacy.
any of you guys get to go to Six Flags Worlds of Adventure, aka
World of Adventure, where's that at?
Geauga Lake?
Oh, Geauga Lake. Yeah, Chris did.
I got to go there too back in 2000. It was, man, that was an incredible park. So it was massive. It was like, it took so long to walk from the entrance. It was such a huge freaking park. It was ridiculous.
I went when it was owned by nobody. It was just Geauga Lake. Went when it was owned by Six Flags and owned by Cedar Fair.
You got to see
And-
the
and
whole.
SeaWorld.
Yeah, you got to see the whole process.
and owned by SeaWorld.
Yep.
That
I
park
don't know
is
if it was ever
amazing.
owned by SeaWorld. SeaWorld was, but
No, I'm saying like SeaWorld is involved. Like that's such a fascinating history there. Like all
Cedar
the different
Fair.
Cedar
Yeah,
Fair,
there's
Six
two
Flags.
theme parks operating right next to each other to help each other's attendance numbers out.
Right.
Yep. And
But
then
what I wanted to ask you before our executive producer switches over to questions because he's lazy. I'm just kidding, Chris. Do you have any insight on why they took the brewery out of Busch Gardens, Tampa?
I assume, well, that was before my time. I started going to Busch Gardens in around like 1990, and I don't really remember I don't know what year the brewery. I think it was well before that they removed the brewery, but I don't remember anything about the brewery. I do remember vividly, like when we would go there with family, and like my uncles would go to the beer school. They used to have the beer school that you could go into while you were there, and so that was a popular thing. But the brewery part of it probably was like 80s when that left the park.
Yeah, so I don't know when they built the original Gwazi.
But yeah, that literally the big building where it was originally that's where Gwazi the original Gwazi ended up going. I think that was 97 or 98, somewhere around there. I'm not a super expert on the dates, but that's where originally that brewery location was. I assume they removed that to expand the park.
Yeah.
Google says it was closed in 1995.
Oh wow. I don't see. I was going there back then. I don't have any. I remember like we were going there for mostly like the animals and the rides that were there back then. Like I remember I remember back in like 1992, my dad literally recorded on the VCR the commercial for Kumba when it was being promoted for Busch Gardens before it opened, so he could show my brother. And then I remember going right after it opened to watch him ride it. And so, like, my memories are more of the rides and the experiences. Like, I remember going on the camels. They used to have like, not the camels, elephants that you could walk that you could ride on.
Oh, that'd be cool. That'd be real cool.
It was called Timbuktu back then, but it's now known as Pantopia.
That'd be real cool.
Timbuktu.
No, because it was curious to me because Busch Gardens, Williamsburg, their brewery is still open and ongoing. Like they never closed it.
That's right.
Yeah, and the one thing I miss about the Tampa is they used to have the Clydesdales there too back in the day. And it was so cool getting to see those things again when I went up to Busch Gardens, Williamsburg last year. I miss those things. Those things are just so gigantic and majestic. They're just incredible to see in person. They were actually just here in Daytona for Bike Week a few days ago.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, now when you visit was it going to be named Mid America? Is what Six Flags St. Louis is going to be called now. You can go
Channing Parks Mid America.
Yep. Now you can go to St. Louis Brewery, the main brewery, and see the Clydesdales.
That's so Mid America.
That's so Mid America. I want to go there in the fall. I'm going to try to see if I can go to the two parks in Missouri in the fall for like their haunt events. Try to get there before my pass doesn't work for those parts.
Yeah, let me know what, but we'll hook it up for real.
Okay.
We have a good saying here. Might as well.
What's going on with the meal plans at those parks, man? I've been reading some crazy things about that stuff.
It's like you
I
get
have no
$10
idea.
or some
I have
shit.
no idea.
You pay $100-something for your meal plan, and they're going to say, "Here's a $10 credit at those parks."
I'm so
A $10 credit.
At King's
Yes.
Dominion, man.
What are y'all talking about? What are y'all talking about?
The meal plans for the parks that are being sold off.
Yeah, they're
Your
not
meal
gonna,
plans, they're not going to work this year.
Oh,
Yeah. So you supposedly get some sort of $10 credit at those parks that are being sold.
$10
Buy a kids meal
for each meal?
I don't know. It doesn't explain. It just says a $10 credit. I don't know if that's one $10 credit or a $10 credit every time you're there. I don't
Yeah,
know.
it should be for each meal. If your meal plan that you paid for is now invalid, it should be
Yeah, but-
$10.
I mean, that still sucks. That won't even pay for.
Yeah, what meal is gonna be
Busch Gardens,
$10?
It wouldn't pay for a kid's meal.
you can't even get fries for $10.
I mean, I didn't say I made the rule. I was just
I know.
telling you
It's like
how it
He
$3
was
was.
like,
for a pizza.
he was like,
at
here's
SeaWorld.
$10. You can
Yeah,
get a
that's
fucking,
kind of shitty. That's kind of
get a-
Six Flagsy of them.
you can get a fucking cotton candy. Here you go.
Go
This
ahead.
is like, I think this new company is like NXT for WWE. Like it's still WWE. Like they tell you, oh, you're in the WWE, but now you're trying to make it to the big league. So if you do good at Enchanted Parks, you can move up to the Six Flags level. That's what I believe is really going on here, for real. I think they sold that shit to themselves. And look at the parks they sold: Michigan's Adventure, Valley Fair.
They're all the
Who the
minor
fuck
league
wants those
parks.
parks?
Schlitterbahn,
This-
Galveston.
The surprise though is Valley Fair. That wasn't originally listed in the list of parks that was.
Yeah, that was surprising because that's one of that's Cedar Fair.
Yeah, that's the fair, Cedar Fair, you know?
Yep. That was one of their babies. So
Well, whoever's in charge now don't give a fuck about Cedar Fair. He made that loud and clear. And you want to know something else that's really fucking funny for me? It is every legacy Cedar Fair park, with the exception of Canada's Wonderland, that I have not been to, are the ones that got sold. Worlds of Fun, Michigan's Adventure, Valley Fair. Not been to none of those. They all got sold. I saved you, Dorney. I saved you.
You haven't been to Knott's.
No, I haven't been to Knott's. It's a very good point. I forgot about Knott's Berry Farm.
That's why I usually try to wear a hat.
How many of their parks have removed rides in the recent years?
Oh, fuck. Almost all of them?
was it last year or 2 years ago where every park was told to remove something? It was like last year or something. They all had to remove something from their parks, and that's why Kings Island got rid of their.
That's just been the
Skyflyer.
Busch Garden motto: remove one thing a year.
Yeah.
It's crazy. We've gone through Scorpion, and literally that one was nuts because literally they gave it like a week's notice before it closed, and then there was public outrage for them not giving any heads up. So they ended up actually extending it another 2 weeks after that, and then I actually was on the last dispatch on the front row of that ride ever, and I. Wasn't my intention at all. I literally was trying to get video of the last train, and they closed it right after we got on. It was about 4:40 in the afternoon, and it had started raining and lightning. And then about a half an hour, 40 minutes went by, and all of that stopped. And then about 10 minutes before the park closed, it was completely clear, and people started getting back in line, assuming that it would reopen again. And then once the park closed, nope, no more rides. We can't. We got to send our employees home. Sorry.
Yeah,
Wow.
We're done.
We don't give a fuck about your Tuesday card.
And then the they literally at the closure of that, or when they were closing it, they had promised we're closing it so we can make way for the next exciting addition to the park. And then it literally sat standing there until May of last year, when they literally couldn't find somebody to buy it from them, and they ended up just tearing it down and sending it to the scrapyard, when they could have literally pieced some of it and literally sold it to fans of the ride and made a profit. Nope, we'll just send it to the junkyard. And then same thing happened with Stanley this year. They've torn it down, and now it's just a dirt lot, and it doesn't look like they have any plans. There's been no permits or any sort of rumblings about what's replacing it. I don't see anything happening for it as of next year. I don't see us getting an attraction until maybe 2029.
What was the reason behind the removal of Stanley Falls? Was it like maintenance nightmare?
It was old, and it was it was up and down a lot. They have issues. They have perpetual issues with their pumps, with their water pumps. Like there was a period last 24 to early 2025, like about 6 months where Congo didn't have water. We had about 6 months last year where Shikra didn't have its splashdown. It reopened recently after going through its annual maintenance cycle. Doesn't have water yet. Cheetah Hunt hasn't had water since March of last year, so it's coming up on a year of that ride not having water. They have a perpetual pump problem, and it's because they literally just fix things just very minorly instead of replacing things. They literally just patch it and pray to God that it works.
It's always a sad day when you see a log flume a log flume get torn down.
Waffle loom.
That's right. Sorry, Noni. Waffle loom.
Waffle loom. So no waffle loom at Busch Gardens? No waffle loom in Florida. No water ride?
It's a blue waffle loom.
Yeah. They got the river rapids, but I'm more of a fan of flumes, honestly.
Yeah, me too. I'm a flume guy.
Is so dilapidated and so just it is a very pathetic sight to see compared. I urge everybody to go back, and you can find videos of that river rapids ride in the area around it from when it opened back in the day. And there used to be a whole soundtrack that went around the whole ride that made it more thrilling. There was more water force, and there was more water coming out of different places that are no longer in use. That ride, to me that ride was more needing torn down than Stanley Falls. At least Stanley Falls was always a fun ride. Like, you move pretty freaking fast on that log flume. Where literally it's one of those things on Congo. Literally you go the whole entire ride pretty much without getting a single splash on you. It really comes down to the very end of the ride when you go into like the tunnel area that has the waterfall at the end of it. It literally, the only way you're getting wet on that ride is if you get under that waterfall at the right time, and you either get soaking wet where literally you're just gonna be wet the rest of the day, or you're just as dry as you were when you came on.
Wow.
So no word on what they're replacing it with, or what they replaced with Scorpion, or none of that.
The gig is coming, right?
I will say what I've heard multiple things, and again, this is just speculation, rumors from people I know that are at the park that work or know people that are at the park, is that it's going to be replaced by something that is very similar to Catapult Falls at SeaWorld San Antonio. But to me that's going to be very tough, because like probably enough space in the Stanley's plot, but like I'm hearing that they want to use both the Scorpion plot and the Stanley plot for something together, like as one ride. So if they want to do that, to me, they got to get rid of that train track, because it's literally divided by the train track. So they would be better off getting rid of that part of the train section and just focusing the train around the Serengeti area and just do that as a Serengeti tour. And then be able to connect more pathways, because literally the park is just like a giant circle, and there's these weird like pathways that you can take for like micro little tiny shortcuts. But if they opened that area up, it could allow for a lot more open pathways to have more access to the park, where you don't have to walk around the whole entire side of it to get to the middle of the park.
I'm looking at a park map right now. It's just like the most current on their website, and it's just an empty plot of land there.
Oh yeah,
minus the train tracks, but yeah, that's
that empty plot is if I'm visualizing where you're looking at, that's should be where the Iron Gwazi, I think it's called Iron Gwazi yard or theater. That's where they have the big theater for the big shows that come to the park.
Yeah, I'm looking like between the plot of land between Falcon's Fury and Tigris, like between there.
Falcon Furies and Tigris.
Like I think is right where Scorpion was, because that was right next to Falcon's Fury.
So
right?
that's part of the area where Tidal Wave used to be back in the day. That's just pretty much unused now.
Yeah.
And before that, it was another, like, it was like almost like a Jungle Cruise style ride that was in that area before then, and they used to have like a whole setup of like huts and jungle villages along the way. And actually, back in the day, they actually used to have scare actors that would come out and scare you while you were on the ride.
So, has Cheetah Hunt been more reliable recently?
It's been more reliable. It has had its temporary issues, but nothing that's out of the normal Intamin temporary downtime issues that normal issues or normal Intimins have.
Yeah.
Normal intimate issues down all the time.
Definitely down more than like Universal's Intimates, that is for sure. But those guys are like some. They're the gods of operating theme parks, so they do something special over there.
But Universal has 24/7 maintenance teams on their Intamins, right?
I would
I
assume
believe
so
so.
with the way they're handled. Like it's crazy going over there and seeing Velocicoaster, just dispatch, every like minute, minute 10 seconds tops.
Yeah, I haven't heard of any significant issues at Universal.
Yeah, no, they don't have. They're very reliable. Whereas Busch Gardens, you're lucky if you get out in 3 minutes on Cheetah Hunt.
Well, and can you go a day and all of their attractions are open? Like, I bet that. When's the last time that happened?
So right now, after Cheetah Hunt reopened, it still wasn't technically all the rides open because SheiKra was under annual maintenance still. Now that SheiKra has been out, it is now, I guess, like a week of, it's been like a week now of all of the roller coasters at Busch Gardens operating consistently. But when you go back last year, there was only a total of 18 days, the whole year, that all the rides were operating at Busch Gardens.
And to
That's
me,
sad.
that's unexceptable.
That's awful.
It's literally terrible, and not to mention Falcon's Fury, which is their 300-foot
Falcon's
drop
Fury?
tower where you face straight down as you drop. That one has been closed, I want to say, since November of last year, and then they started. I want to say early December they removed the restraints off of them, and they've been sitting there without the restraints now ever since, and no sign of working on it. I've heard there's all these rumors about, they're just waiting on parts. They're waiting on parts. There's so many past members in these Facebook groups that's always their go-to excuse, and
Right.
they've got to be right some of the time, but it's one of those things like, why don't these parks order extra parts in preparation for these things that are actually going to break? That way, when the part breaks, you already have the replacement for it, and then you can order the backup for the backup.
I agree.
Well, and that's
Strongly agree.
I like Jeffrey Siebert. Like, they have the third train for Iron Rattler, so when they have to take a train out, they just put the good train on. Like,
Yep, that's the way it always should be.
Yeah.
They just the United Parks in Florida, their properties in Florida just don't get that budget to take care. It's like they get such a small budget, and they literally have to split it up and try to figure out how to split it up to make everything work. And it's literally like throwing pennies here and there. They just don't have enough for anything.
yeah, it's like feeding table scraps to the dog.
Yeah, it's one of those things. We're gonna continue, in my opinion, seeing more ride closures that are, not just a week, not just two, month-long, multi-month-long closures because of the lack of, the budget that these parks are given to actually take care of these rides. And it's another thing is you're gonna have, more issues with rider safety. With these things happening as well. Like one of the craziest things that happened last year, me and RCX were actually at Busch Gardens, Tampa, and we were waiting in line for Iron Gwazi. And as we're waiting, you know how sometimes they'll have the people that have the disabilities that get the front of the train access. They had that, but it was this literal guy that had no physical control over his body being picked up by his friend and taken up to the front seat of the roller coaster, placed in there. And like literally he was like leaning over on his friend as they were like going out of the station, like no upper body control. I looked at over at RCX and I said, if they keep doing that, they're going to end up killing somebody. That is dangerous. And then like 4 weeks later, the Stardust situation happened.
Right.
And I see that situation happen at these parks all the time, and it's a wonder that they don't happen more often, especially at parks like Busch Gardens, where the maintenance and everything is not as up to par as you would get at a park like Disney or Universal.
Right.
Which blows my mind because Busch Gardens is supposed to be big time. Like, that's a big time park. Like, I remember when I was a kid, my mom and my aunt used to always talk about going to Busch Gardens down in Tampa, Busch Gardens in Virginia. And for it to be ran the way it is, it's crazy to me. Like, you talk about how bad the maintenance is. That should be one of the top notch places in the world, much less America, you know?
100% agree. That's the way I always looked at it as a kid. Even until when I moved back down here, I was expecting,
Lost the
a
volume.
near similar experience to what I got when I was a kid, and it was just not the same anymore. And it just continued to get worse. And you saw Kumba literally closed down for literally not over 10 months last year, from literally November of 2024 all the way through September of 2025. And they didn't even address it for a total of 6 months before they even said, oh yeah, this coaster's closed. We forgot to tell you about it. And that's another thing is like literally I started, and I do acknowledge I am pretty crass and can be pretty, over the top in the language of the post I make. But it's because I'm trying to get enough people as outraged as I am to keep talking about it to where literally the media cannot ignore it anymore, because there are so many problems like Dragonfire Grill last year being closed during the middle of the day due to literal health violations, like literally fisting
How's the coleslaw? How's the coleslaw?
like fisting coleslaw. Like, what the heck? Literally, the violation says 5 inches past the gloves. That's like up to here on your arm. That's ridiculous. There's no need. Like I've made coleslaw when I've prepped at places, and literally, yeah, we used our hands, but literally we're like tossing it. You're not literally digging into it. Yeah, it's one violation after another, and then you got closures, and it's just you got all these problems that keep happening, and I keep trying to expose it. It's time the media takes control and actually investigates this, because if they want a park to promote in 5 years, they need to make sure that this park is still going to be around, because in my opinion, at this rate, it's not going to be around in 3 to 5 years. It's going to have to get its what? Yeah, I don't think like, if you want my true opinion on what is going on with this park, and there's others that I've talked to that have come to the same conclusion. I'm not the only one with this opinion, but my opinion is that United Parks is literally purposely tanking this park with the intention of literally getting a tax break off of the bankruptcy off of it, and then selling the land off to be developed for real estate.
Wow.
I can totally see it.
That way they can literally funnel that money to the other parks that make money. They talked about all this on their most recent investor call, that they were talking about how all of this land that they own right now is very valuable, and how they're thinking about selling all of this, their land assets to help them raise some more money for themselves. And it's like, is it just the land that isn't developed that you're selling, or is it properties that the land that your parks are on that you're considering to be the land that is valuable? Because if you look at their most valuable land out of all of their parks, it's definitely got to be Tampa, being right next to USF, being in a prime area for developing apartments and housing for the students there. It's literal, and Tampa is one of the most hot markets in the country right now. Like the land that they're sitting on there has got to be worth more than the rides in the park that are sitting on it, in my opinion.
Isn't it right in the middle of the city?
Yeah, it's right. I'm not downtown, but yeah, it's right in the middle of. It's considered, the area that it's in is like a neighborhood considered Temple Park.
Yeah, that's wild.
But yeah, I can't see them. At the very least, they can't continue as is and expect to stay open for more than 5 years. They're gonna end up bankrupt if they're trying to stay open and they're trying to invest in this property. They're failing heavily, and if they can't continue doing the same thing that year after year and expect things to get better. It won't last. If they do the same thing for the next 5 years, it's toast. They're done.
Do you think that's why they can't keep a president, because they can see through that? They can see what the plan is, and maybe they're like, "No, I'm not sticking around for this."
That's another reason why I've come up to that theory that it's an intentional thing, because literally the presidents come in, they realize that anything they want to do is just going to be shot down by corporate. And literally you have Jeff Davis last year literally barely getting anything done when he promised all those things. All those promises ended up almost entirely failed. Then you got Brian Basica. He actually was able to get a little bit done while he was there, but then again, he left right after that, and it was probably the only thing I can come to a conclusion with is that corporate isn't backing the presidents and enabling them to do what they need to do to get their job done. It's more being run by corporate now than it is actually by. I mean, right now it currently is being ran by corporate, along with their vice president just telling him what to do with the park. But it seems like they just want the president to do whatever they say to do.
Yeah,
And
right.
not really have an opinion of their own.
Like a figurehead puppet.
Yep. And Jeff Davis was great for that last year. I mean, he talked a big talk. It was, I was really hopeful because the things he was saying made me feel very optimistic. And he even said during that initial media conference that they had more information on Kumba that could be coming this summer. And then last summer came and went, and the ride didn't reopen until after summer, and we didn't get literally any information until I think it was like the day before summer actually ended.
That's crazy.
And then, Cheetah Hunt, I mean, I know you're an Intamin stan, like that went down for 4 months total and not a peep from the park. And literally the funniest thing to me was they got it reopened for like a week's time and literally posted on Facebook and Instagram and said, "We are so back," with a cheetah emoji. And then literally 2 days later, it went down again for another 3 weeks.
See, I put this all on park maintenance and money. It has to be
100%.
Right?
There's no other explanation. It's not like it's not like these people that are working in maintenance aren't incompetent people. They're just not being given the proper resources to do what they need, and not being given the time that they needed to actually, and like by time I mean they need more maintenance employees so they can spread them around the park.
At one point, I remember hearing something about Intamin being like, "Nope, this is your problem," and walking away from it. Was that true at all?
So I do know. I was told that right before it opened again, before it closed again, I was told that Intamin was doing some like seminars in Central Florida. And so while they were there, they had a team go out to Busch Gardens to work on it. And I know they were there for like several days, and then they left, and the ride still wasn't open. And then literally about a week later, it ended up opening, and then it closed again. So it's one of those things. I don't know. Like I actually did email Intamin's PR team and asked them if they had any comment on their relationship with Busch Gardens, because I have heard myself from people inside the park that they're on very bad terms, and I just wanted to see if I could get a response from them. I didn't get any response, but wasn't really expecting one. But it was one of those things I just wanted to see. But yeah, I've definitely heard very similar things that the relationship between the park, because the two rides there are Falcon's Fury, or sorry, Falcon's Fury and and Cheetah Hunt, and both of them are down more than they are up oftentimes.
Yeah. And I can see it. I mean, obviously they're older Intamins, so that they get a bad rap as is.
I mean, they're not that old. Like Cheetah Hunt is. I mean, it's
2015,
less.
right?
It's Cheetah Hunt was. I want to say 2008.
I thought it was 2015. Was it?
It might. Maybe I'm thinking.
Hold on.
Cobra's Curse.
Cheetah Hunt. I have RCDB.
Of course it does. On speed
I
down.
could be wrong.
2011.
Okay, yeah, I knew it wasn't that late. But yeah, so I mean that's only 15 years old. I mean you got Montu in the same park, and that's over 30 and running as glorious as the day it freaking opened.
God of the inverts.
That is the heyday of the B&Ms back.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean I mean that just shows you that that ride was blessed by being owned by during the Anheuser-Busch days and being well taken care of up until even Black Rock, when they took majority ownership after InBev was sold. Even they took better care of everything. So it's one of those things to me, like a lot of the deterioration of the park and the rides have come between 2018 and now, when United Parks took majority ownership.
Yeah. Sounds like we need a new buyer. We need to sell the parks.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
That just makes me sad, really. But so if the rumor is that they may add the
I'm gonna turn you guys around real quick.
If they may add that launched log flume, they would have to be working with Intamin again.
Bumble.
Repeat that last line. I'm sorry.
So if the rumor was that they may be doing that launched log flume, they would have to be working with Intamin again. But if their relationship is bad, that doesn't sound like.
I mean, there's other companies that offer similar rides. You got to think too, like Mach could definitely produce something of that type. I'm sure Vekoma probably has something up their sleeve like that. And they're working with Vekoma right now at SeaWorld Orlando. I would love to see a Vekoma come to one of the Busch or SeaWorld parks. Personally, Busch, just because they need something added to their lineup, and a smaller, like not a family, but like those more compact, something that looks like a more along the lines of a shortcut model, but done by Vekoma in the old Scorpion plot would be awesome.
Yeah, we can see that. Or Gerstlauer.
I don't see us getting a Giga for for quite a long time though. Like it's not. We have no need. I mean, when you think about it, like when everything's running optimally at this park, we still have a solid lineup between Montu, Kumba, Iron Gwazi, and Cheetah Hunt. Like those fill up pretty much almost like the needs, like the thrill needs that your park has, and then you got a stellar cast behind it. If this park was taken care of, and then they worked on modifying the park and the landscape and just making the guest experience enjoyable again, it would be one of those things they could actually draw people back in and make people want to come back, and then they would have the profits to actually build the rides they want to make, like a Giga.
Yeah, I mean, personally, if and when they did do a Giga, I think that would be awesome to see a Giga outside of Six Flags parks.
I would want another Intamin Giga personally.
Agreed. I want to see what new gen Intamin can do with a Giga.
100%.
Yeah. Man, I haven't been to Busch Gardens Tampa since 2015, so some new credits I need.
Oh yeah, quite a bit. Yeah, there's
Yeah.
Tigris. You need Tigris too. And you're lucky you never got to ride it with the comfort colors.
Nope. Yep. That I just heard that. That's another thing that was just released is Tempesto and another one took their comfort collars off.
Yeah, they're unnecessary. They're absolutely like literally rides like that and the RMCs. Like I never even have the lap bar even touch my lap. Like I'm always locked in by the shin guards, dude. Like my legs get like locked in tight by those shin guards. I always end up having like 6 inches of space on my lap.
Whew. Yeah, that'd be nice. All right. Maybe we should get into some questions.
What happened to Yak?
I don't. He said he was going to smoke, and then he just left. I don't know.
I
Yeah,
didn't
see,
even
yeah,
think to say that.
going back.
I guess see Yakety Yak don't come back. Yakety Yak, Yakety Yak. You were saying, the parts got a stellar lineup when everything is running and it covers the thrills. You got a 1 in 18 chance of catching that day with all the fucking coasters and everything running.
Last
18
year,
days
yeah.
out of the week. That's not very good odds.
Yeah, I mean, and those were like the 18 days were all like in a short window, together. When it was literally it happened, but from when Kumba reopened and then when Cheetah Hunt closed, those 18 days where there was like 24 days that it was like between the two between Kumba and Cheetah opening and closing. And there were several of those days where Cheetah Hunt or another ride was down for the whole day. So there was only a total of 18 days that all of the rides were operating simultaneously, at least
Right.
at some point during the day.
That's unacceptable, really.
I mean, we need. Didn't Ohio get that like law that was supposed to like have parks like require the theme parks to post their operational status for rides?
Yeah, I remember that. I don't know if it ever like passed or anything, but I know that it was brought up.
We need something like that desperately in Florida for parks like SeaWorld and Busch Gardens because last year, I think it was like May of last year, they completely removed the part of their website where they listed the attraction closures. So now, if you want to know what attractions are potentially closed before you go, you're just shit out of luck. You just got to wait until you get to the park and pray to God that the ride you really want to ride is going to be open that day.
Yeah. That is not good. That is not good.
Like they literally offered last year's, like they were advertising last year's annual passes at the beginning of the year, talking about Kumba being ready for the summer, and then it didn't open until like the day after summer or the day after fall began. Like just consistently trying to do things and advertising for it, but then missing the mark.
Well, hopefully they can turn something around and get going the right direction.
I hope, but I'm not optimistic. I will say that.
Do they have a park president now?
No. No.
Wow.
They've been without a park president officially since December 10th of last year. And we're now into March. We're now well into March. So I will say they went through something very similar previously when they had lost, before they got Jeff Davis, they had gone through, I think it was like 5 months from 2024 into 2025 without a president. So right now we're at about the 4-month mark of being without a president. So if we get another president next month, they've at least gotten a president quicker than they did last year when they had that problem. but it doesn't seem like they're in any rush. And I'm always checking their job portal on their website to see if they post anything. And there's all sorts of leadership positions around the park open if anybody's interested in working for Busch Gardens, but still no sign of a presidential job opening at the park.
Wow.
Interesting.
So they seem content with corporate running it, is my guess at this point, and really don't see the need for a president because nobody's going to keep the job anyway.
Right. It's a shame, man. It's just a shame.
Very frustrating as somebody who loves that park and who has been a mega fan of it since I was 3-4 years old.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine like this happening like Kings Island up here. And he's gone again.
That would be devastating.
Paul came back and was like, nah, not gonna do it.
I'm out.
I'm too ugly for him to look at for more than 5 seconds at a time.
There he is. He's back again.
I'm trying. Tim Apple's making it hard.
Tim Apple.
Tim Crapple.
All right. Questions?
Question?
Yeah. Questions?
We're talking about practice?
We're talking about questions.
Just talk about practice. We sitting here, I'm supposed to be the franchise player, and we're in here talking about practice. I mean, listen, we talking about practice. Not a game. We talking about practice.
All right. The first one is coming from a good friend, Coaster Fiend.
The Fiend.
And he is saying, if you were appointed BGT president by the X masses, what would be your 6-month, 1 year, and 3-year plans?
6 months. I'll try to keep this simple. 6 months, I would probably focus purely on aesthetics of the park, getting the landscaping well taken care of, and making sure the budget, or making sure that the budget for maintenance and the maintenance was well taken care of, so we could get all of the rides on. Then over the next 6 months, I would probably, if I was the president, what I would do was I would be constantly going around the park, experiencing the attractions and the shows with people and getting opinions on what they wanted from the park moving forward. So that way, for the next 2-3 years out, I could focus on providing, now that I would focus on that first full year of just making sure the park is peak condition, moving forward. That way, the second half of the year, I could get the ideas of what people wanted and expected from the park and implement that for the park going forward, because there's nobody at the park, in my opinion, that knows what's better for the park than their pass holders.
I agree.
Yep.
I'm sorry. Did you mention your 3-year? Did I miss that?
Yeah, like what I was saying is I would spend the first 6 months getting the park into shape, but also doing that over the whole first year, but spending that second half of the year literally devoted to like being in park and getting guest needs, and then delivering whatever desires they have over the next 3 years. Like what I would do personally was I would get a replacement in I would replace Congo River Rapids. I would replace Stanley River Falls with another log flume ride, preferably a mock rocking boat that's well themed and jungle, like you're exploring the jungle, and literally take out the train part for the whole west side of the park. And when you do that, you also remove stations for Stanleyville and Congo, and in those places you can add extra flat rides. My biggest thing would be over the next year, add 2 or 3 water rides to really fill out the water ride lineup, and then add 3 or 4 flat rides, and make at least, some of those rides be an indoor, a dark ride experience to where you have dark ride attractions at the park. They don't need you don't need to have an exclusive. You could have an exclusive dark ride, but it could be one of those things. I would add a indoor roller coaster would be my first like roller coaster edition, and then like 5-year plan. Like once we get the lineup filled out to where it's more of a full lineup of attractions, then you add a giga, because then you have everything you need. Then it's just excess. What do you want to give to really boost attendance moving forward?
Nice.
Because that giga will eventually boost attendance. It's just having the other attractions to fill out the lineup will actually make people want to return and experience that again and again.
I agree. I like it. I dig it. All right. Next question coming from Whiskey Nick.
Whiskey Nick.
Keep it down with Whiskey Nick.
Rhymes with whiskey. I can't think of anything.
Good.
Stick? Whiskey stick?
Yeah, whiskey stick.
That's it. All right. He is saying or asking, with Six Flags selling off 7 properties to Enchanted Parks, do you think Six Flags will look to pursue acquiring a park from Hershend or SeaWorld? If so, what is your time frame and what park is it? I wouldn't be surprised if Six Flags went after Busch Gardens Tampa within 5 to 7 years.
Straight up, no. They did, I want to say it was like 4 or 5 years ago, they did have interest in people buying them, but they're at the point now of, multiple parks, not just Busch Gardens Tampa, but now all those parks are in such problematic states that they're not desirable by even Six Flags. And Six Flags right now, when you look at their stock compared to even United Park stock, Six Flags stock last time I checked, it was like $15-16. United Park stock is still just over $30. Like Six Flags is not in any position to buy any of those parks or even any of the Hershend parks. If I had to choose one, I would want Hershend to buy, Busch Gardens Tampa and SeaWorld, basically acquire the properties of United Parks that they own in Florida. But that's a pipe dream at this point. When no park president wants to work as the president of a park that you own, there's no way anybody wants to buy those parks unless it's for wicked cheap.
Yeah, I'm gonna I would disagree as well. I don't think Hershend would buy them. It doesn't fit their portfolio. I can't imagine no beer sales at Busch Gardens Tampa.
Well, they do offer beer sales at Kennywood and some of the other parks that they have bought.
For now.
Okay, I see what you're saying. For now.
We'll see.
That's a big part. Then that's another thing. That's a big part of Busch Gardens in the history, and I don't think they would want to sell to anybody that wasn't wanting to continue those partnerships moving forward.
Right. I think it'd be too pricey for them anyway. I know that they went around and bought up a bunch of little parks, but I don't know if they could. They may be able to buy one big park, but I don't know if they could do 2 at once. Hershend is. Six Flags, no way. They're trying to sell off whatever they can to get money. So
yeah, they literally have. It's like they have floaties on, and they're literally completely submerged, just holding on to the floaties, trying to pull themselves back up to the surface.
And to be honest, out of those 7 parks, they only got $330 million.
Oh, and
the Paramount Park sold for like $1.4 billion when they sold those Paramount parks.
So I have to say this too about that whole Six Flags deal. So that International Attractions Management Company that is the parent company that was on the deal. So I know a little about them from doing a little bit of research. So I have a little local water park here, opened back, I want to say in 1997 or 98. It was called Adventure or Adventure Landing back then, and then it changed hands over several times, and then it was actually, funny enough, it was actually owned by United Parks and Resorts from like 2015 to like 18, and then this company, International Attraction Management, they actually, I can't figure out whether they helped SeaWorld or United Parks like bring it back up to a level where it could be sold. But there's conflicting the reports from what I've read online that that's what they did. But I've also read that they were the next people that bought it, and that's when the park went like completely downhill. Like it used to be literally packed almost every weekend when I was growing up, and literally now all I ever hear about it, I hear about it probably 3 or 4 times a year on the news of people literally getting like bacterial infections from the swimming pools there.
God
And
damn.
it's literally gross. Like I used to go there for the go-kart rides, and literally half the times you would literally be on a go-kart and it would just die on you in the middle of the track, and you would have to literally get on it. They just don't take care of anything over there.
Damn.
That's crazy.
And literally, they have that on their. It's called Daytona Lagoon now. They have it on their list, on their portfolio of things that they've worked with in the past.
Daytona.
That's how I found out about that.
Choose your car.
I wouldn't be getting in that water. I can't believe it's still open.
Yeah, and
Right.
like I say, it happens multiple. Like there's news reports of it closing down and them having to like clean out the area for like a month, and then they reopen, and then within a matter of weeks it happens again.
Interesting.
It's disgusting. I would never step foot in there again.
That's good to know.
all.
That's good to know. I won't be going there.
And you know what's interesting is Hollywood Studios, he actually did a video review of that park like a year or two ago, and he said in the video he was dog sitting just down the road. I was like, what would he go there for? Like, why?
Some people don't know.
Yeah.
They're gonna find out.
If you don't know, now you know.
But yeah, like I don't have much confidence in that park running those new parks, especially when you're calling your like premier park Mid-America by Enchanted Parks.
Dumb.
The most absurdly dumb name I've heard from a theme park in my life.
Well, it is what it is.
All right.
Be more
Last
creative.
question.
That's all I ask.
Yeah, I get it. Last question that we got here.
That's it, just 3?
Just 3. From
3.
JP. 3.
I guess that's
JP.
how you was raised.
JP.
We're gonna do it for Dale.
Of course.
Was there a specific time period or event that to you signaled the shift from what BGT used to be to where it is now?
I wasn't covering the parks when this happened, but I do. My belief from the research I've done is when it went briefly from BlackRock's hands to some Chinese investment firm back in like 2017, and then the Chinese I can't remember all the details on it, but somehow the Chinese investment firm that owned it for a short time, they didn't live up to the promises they promised the investors. And so there was this deal that if they didn't meet this thing in a year, they would sell their shares. And so that's when 2018 is when it went directly into majority ownership of Hillpath. Hillpath to me marks the real ultimate decline and downfall, because at least with the BlackRock area, it was, it wasn't as stellar as it was when it was owned by the Anheuser-Busch family, and but it was at least stable during that era. And now you just see this capital investment firm take over, and literally it went downhill because they still had, when they first took over, they still had a lot of the original employees that knew what they were doing with the place left. And then over the past 3-4 years, a lot of those people are just unhappy. Oh, I will add this. One message I got from a while ago was from somebody, I'm not going to say what position or their name, but they're very, very high up in the Tampa company, one of the companies that are over there, like top high up, and told me that working under Scott Ross, who is the head of Hillpath Capital, is literally a nightmare, and that's why you see so many people leaving the company. And so, to me, it's just you're going to continue. Human Shrek, right there. Yeah. So that guy is responsible to me. Like, he is the reason these companies are falling. This guy is only interested in money, not the experience. And until he figures out that he's not making any more money with these parks, we're going to continue seeing them fall and fall and fall. And, one of the theories I had a while ago was that, because one of the ways they get their cash is from getting loans from the investment firm. So one of the things they could end up doing would be building a giga and then literally having that debt that they have to pay back and literally selling the park at that point. So they're making money from the sale of Busch Gardens, but then the park also has to pay the debt back for the ride they bought back to Hillpath, who was their, lender.
Okay, this is a little off topic. Well, kind of, but I was searching Hillpath while you were talking and everything, and I came across their website, and this is the only thing that's on it.
Oh yeah, it's so basic.
Yeah, that is it.
Yep.
And you can't click on anything other than the email address.
Yeah, it's just literally their offices.
And that's crazy. There's no details about them or anything.
Nope. You can you can literally find out more about them from going and searching through the employees' LinkedIn profiles, and literally find out more about them through their LinkedIn, because literally there's nothing else outside of they are completely private guys. None of those people are public figures. I think I've found one of those guys on Facebook, one of their top guys at Hillpath. I'm not going to go out and, be a creepy guy and message them, but it was one of those things. I was curious if any of those guys were actually, public figures at all, but nope. There's, I believe, one YouTube video of Scott Ross giving a business talk at a seminar, but that's literally the only video you can find out there of him.
Crazy.
And literally, if you read his LinkedIn bio, it he brags more about being about his fraternity, and how much he did in his fraternity when he was in college, more than his accolades as an actual businessman. It's very it's he's only done a few things. He worked for 2 companies before he started Hillpath. They were both higher positions in the financial institutions, but his experience was, I believe he's younger than me. His experience in the industry is very limited, and it really surprising to me that people like this are able to start a investment firm and then a couple years later own an institution like SeaWorld and United Parks.
Yeah.
Unreal.
Unreal. That is a good statement. Well, that brings us to the end of the episode.
Ready to hang out more? Oh.
So, thank you, Saxon Tracks, for coming and hanging out. Do you have any parting words for the listeners?
Speak up, and I will say this, speak up about both the positive and the negative. We want to know what we want to my goal is to help these parks succeed and, become better. And unless we point out both the positive and the negative to these parks, nothing's going to change. And the louder we are, the more they're going to hear us. We had that happen multiple times, like have an effect on what things, how things happen there. We had it happen with Scorpion, getting 2 extra weeks with that. They almost took the parking trams away from the parking lot. People were in an uproar about that. That got put back in. There's been 2 or 3 times now where they've taken the bus away from SeaWorld to Tampa, and the demand ended up being there enough for it that they've always continued the contract to make sure the bus was taking people from SeaWorld to Tampa. So it's one of those things, you speak up and things will change. You just gotta keep speaking up.
Yeah.
I think that shuttle from SeaWorld to Tampa is the greatest thing ever. I love it.
Yeah, especially for people that are coming from like the United Kingdom and from out of countries that are literally only really trying to spend their time in Orlando. That gives them a window to get over and experience the park in Tampa without having a hassle.
I thought it was great. Any socials or anything you want to put out there for people to visit you on, or got any videos or anything?
If you look at my name on here at Sax on Track, you can literally search that on Instagram and X and YouTube, and you'll find me in all those locations.
Sounds good. Well, once again, Sax on Tracks, thank you for coming and hanging out. To my co-hosts, do you have any parting words?
Next Saturday, as of this recording, we will be at that park down south to kick off the 2026 season for most of the Coaster ERT crew, Coaster Heat ERT crew, whatever you want to call it, Coaster Heat crew. For most of us, some of us live where parks are year round, and some of us are in Florida chapters or Virginia chapters, but some of us have to wait in an off season. And now that off season is over for us, we're going to be celebrating. This next Saturday, we'll be at that park down south. In 2 weeks, we'll be at Six Flags Over Georgia. And in 4 weeks, 3 weeks, or 4 weeks, we'll be at Spring Breakout in Virginia. Please join us if you can. 2 weeks. Come take a pic. Come ride a ride. Get in the crew.
The season's starting.
That's right.
Sax, you're due in July when we come to Orlando in July.
Nice. Can't wait. I missed y'all last year. You got sick, man. I was so worried about you.
I know, man. It was a bummer, but I made it through. And I always said when we started this journey, I said I want to be, when it's my 50th, I want to be in Orlando, and we're making that happen this year. We're going to Florida. We're not doing I don't think we're doing Universal unless somebody wants to be nice and buy me a birthday present Universal tickets. But we're doing Busch Gardens, SeaWorld, Aquatica, maybe a couple fun spots. We'll see. We're spending a week down there, so we'll have a good time.
I'll ask around and see if I have anybody that can get some Universal tickets for you, man.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
That'd be awesome.
That'd be awesome.
That's not Florida.
That's not Florida.
All right. Anyway, Paul, take it away.
Yeah, any apologies you want to make this week before we go?
I don't know what I should apologize for, but I'm sure I've offended someone. So.
Well, we got that cease and desist letter. I didn't know if you wanted to apologize for us.
He can apologize for leaving so much during this conversation.
Hey, like, I'm not used to 3-hour episodes. So, yeah, like, I just don't give a fuck.
Okay.
That's great. That's what we all strive for.
Like, our haters are gonna fucking hate us regardless. So fuck them. Keep hating. We'll leave the lamp on for you.
Bye, haters.
And with that, you are all clear and out of here. We will see you next time on the ERT Podcast. For all ERT Podcast news and updates, please check us out on X, formerly known as Twitter, and check us out on YouTube. This has been a Coaster Conquest production. You've been watching ERT TV.